Do's and don'ts of buying properties off the plan. Outcomes. Provide a comprehensive guide to purchasing off the plan properties in a low risk manner. Highlight critical mistakes that are often made in this type of purchase, and provide methods to reduce and avoid these risks. This module is most useful for first home buyers, property investors, and owner-occupiers. Off-the-plan purchasing always generates plenty of discussion in property circles. If done incorrectly, the downsides can be quite painful for buyers, but many are attracted to this style of purchase because of the gap of time between the deposit and settlement payments. As the name implies, this style of purchase of a property is done before or during the construction of a dwelling. This process involves a reservation fee when the buyer chooses their property, which can be refunded up until the contracts are exchanged. On exchange, the 10% non-refundable deposit is due. The rest of the balance is paid on settlement when the building is finished. In off-the-plan new projects, a lot of emphasis is placed on the builder and the developer. What you must factor into your understanding is how these projects are actually built and assembled. Whilst there will be a head contractor who is a builder, a lot of the different jobs within the building are often contracted out to individual companies. For example, Greg's Carpets will just do the carpets, Joe's Windows will just do the windows, Eric Electrical will be the electrician, and so forth. Keeping all of these contractors accountable is part of the reason why we tend to find a range of builders' defects on a new project. This may sound like a dig or a criticism, but in truth it is more shining a light on the reality of the industry, which is bounded by financial factors and deadlines. This is why a good builder's warranty is very important, as we'll discuss further. There are two types of builders in this respect: standalone builders and builder developers. A developer will own the project and be the seller, and the builder will be responsible for actually building it. A lot of companies are the builder and the developer. This typically makes for more accountability and often better companies, particularly when you find a family builder developer, which is my term for building and developing companies which are transgenerational. In my experience, it is these groups who are often having the best project delivery, but of course not always. Now to our do's and don'ts, which will be listed for you in the resources also. Do get finance in place, as is the case with any major purchase. Understand all the costs involved: legal fees, stamp duty, mortgage expenses, and deposit. Check for government grants, which will vary from state to state, of course. Confirm and educate yourself on what benefits may apply to you, such as first home buyers grants and stamp duty exemptions, for example. Make sure you have an experienced solicitor, preferably one who is experienced and used to dealing with off the plan, as they will have a good understanding of what you should be looking out for. Make sure you are fully aware of your rights to on-sell the property, including what points in the timeline and under what conditions this can be done, as it will often be limited before settlement. Ensure that the premises has suitable features, for example your air conditioning, parking, natural light, modern appliances, whatever else will be important. Double and triple checking inclusions is particularly important when buying off the plan, as this is one of the most common disappointments at settlement. Know that contract inside and out. Inspect other previously completed projects of the builder and developer if possible, and do your research on the developer. Information such as if there have been structural issues on previous projects, negative news stories, and if projects were delivered on time is obviously useful. Understand the short-term future of the market in the area. Consider whether new developments in the area will impact your property. For example, our agency once had to lease a new project with 2 construction sites on either side. A lot of people don't want to live next to 2 construction sites, so the drawn-out vacancy rates hurt the investor. The other thing to consider is the impact of new developments on the actual supply in the market, because it's very hard to predict the market over 1 or 2 year time frame, so be conscious of changes in the valuations from the bank from when your deposit is paid to when the settlement actually approaches. One way to prepare for this is to look at our module on how to choose a good investment property, even if you're an owner-occupier watching this. You've got to ask, are there too many similar dwellings in a given area? Because when councils rezone these areas and developers snap up the sites, their projects will hit the market at the same time, meaning that they will tend to increase that supply. Make sure there is a sufficient builder's warranty in place, ideally 12 months, minimum 6, as during this period the builder will be liable for all repairs and defects that aren't occupant caused. Do a credit check on builders and developers to ensure they are in a good financial position. If they aren't funded, the project won't be completed. Buy a property that is closer to completion if finance is proving difficult, because if banks can see the product, it makes it easier for them to lend to you. Now the don'ts. Don't assume because a property will be brand new that it will make for a good investment. Don't buy off an inexperienced builder or developer with no track record of project delivery. Don't miss any tricky clauses in the contract, like the ability for the builder-developer to change the design, fixtures and fittings. Permit a sunset clause in the contract. This is a clause that enables a party to pull out of the contract. Be sucked in by marketers or wealth companies without doing your own homework or getting the advice of an impartial third party. Rush into making a decision based on emotion or any other erroneous factors. Timing is everything. Don't assume that the project will be delivered on time. I've experienced this when working for a developer and as an agent many times. The building industry is renowned for being a bit too optimistic on its timelines. So if there's anything you need to weigh up when considering this information when it will be ready, make sure you do so. Don't buy a property that is not DA approved, because this means that council has not allowed the property to go through to be built in its proposed format and it can change. Don't forget that most loan pre-approvals only last for 3 or 4 months. So this can lead to unwanted exposure and risk if the property's value changes a lot in that time. Don't pay for rental guarantees in the purchase price. And finally, don't settle for a default property manager if you're an investor. By this I mean, a lot of developers have in-house property management, or their sales agent will have a property management team in their office. For businesses that prioritize property developing or sales rather than property management, this service is an add-on revenue stream to them, and it means that your chance of getting good service is lower. Our business, for example, is the opposite, as we started with property management as a focus, so we're a lot more accountable to the quality of our service. Not saying that you have to use us, of course. All I'm saying is that you need to find the best property manager for you. Find a specialist, find a team, and at least talk to a couple of different property managers. Don't just take on someone as default. Of course, if you need advice regarding the reasonable value or rental value of a property you're looking at, please don't hesitate to contact our Sydney Listings team, because after all, we are here to help, and that service is generally free of charge from us. And if buying off the plan is being done, you've got to be careful. As one of the most controversial areas of property and real estate, you need to use this video or any resources as a guide so that you have a reference to go off and simply tick the boxes when going through this process. Please check out the written guide and the resources for this, and best of luck. Thanks for watching. Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to the Sydney Listings Academy. Just a quick disclaimer that this advice is generic and is not to be used by individuals. We take no liability for misuse of this information and encourage you to seek out professional advice specific to your situation. Please reach out to get in touch with our network of trusted professionals if you so need it. And just before you take off, just a quick note, obviously we're working on something with the Sydney Listings Academy to help educate people about the potential in property, finance and investing. So if you want to support the Sydney Listings Academy, please share the content with friends, family and followers if you have them, and also follow Sydney Listings on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn and or YouTube, wherever you like to hang out, as well as our website, and check that out for more resources as well. Thank you very much guys, and we'll see you in the next video.